My name is Michael Berry. I hope you already know that because I do noon to 3 every day on 1190 KEX. So coming into the homes of people in Portland every afternoon, I want to ask for the sellers 3 minutes of your time to talk about live endorsements. And I promise I'll stick to it because that's my timer. 3 minutes of your attention. Now, what I'm going to say may sound like I'm insulting FM radio or music radio, and I'm not. But what I find is a lot of folks in the markets I'm in have trouble or unwilling or not as excited to sell AM radio. They're not as excited to sell live endorsements on AM radio. So indulge me for 2.5 more minutes and let me explain something. If you look at the radio stations in Portland, and if you're a listener driving around, chances are you are most likely to listen to a music radio station. And if this is all the listeners of radio in Portland, about that many of them are listening to FM radio and maybe only listening to FM radio. But there's still a subset of people who are going to tune to the AM dial. When you listen to music on the radio, you turn on the station to listen to your music format, your musicians, the famous folks that you listen to, whether it's Lady Gaga or Aerosmith, whether it's famous country musicians or famous hip-hop artists. You tune in to hear music by musicians that you know. Imagine if you could get Aerosmith in the middle of one of their songs to stop and say, oh, and by the way, Joe Jones Roofing can come out and take care of your roof. Maybe, just maybe, you could sell more roofing for Joe Jones Roofing if that was your client. Well, that subset of people, and even if you're not an AM radio listener, there are plenty of people who come to the spoken word. 1.5 minutes left. And when they do, their music is that person talking on the radio. Their Aerosmith, their Lady Gaga is Michael Berry, Rush Limbaugh, Mark and Dave. They tune in to hear us talk. So when we talk during the commercials and we talk during the segment, it's no different to them. They care what we think. I know, that's scary. They care what our opinions are. In fact, they tune in to hear our opinions. So if we're good at what we do, we should be able to talk about our opinions on healthcare, our opinions on taxes, our opinions on government regulation, and our opinions on where to shop. And if we're good at what we do, we should be able to talk about your client just the way we talk about our political opinions. And we should get those folks to be able to act. Those folks listen to us as to who to vote for. Those folks listen to us as to where to shop. Your client is getting a testimonial from the very person they tuned in to listen to. And if we're any good at what we do, we should be able to make the phone ring for your clients. If we're any good at what we do, we can convince your folks that our opinion on that is just as valid as our opinion on politics or pop culture. And with that, I would ask you, 3 minutes are up. If you're looking to make the phones ring, I speak for 40 clients in Houston, and I can tell you FM sellers who sell music. Okay, I went past my 3 minutes. Just bear with me. FM sellers who sell only music radio, when they have a small client, an owner-operated client, who's going to be standing there at the phone when the spot runs, they get their schedule, they know my spot's running at 12:28. They're watching to see if the phone lines ring. Those sellers come to my show and they say, Michael, I got to get this client happy. He's going to buy $25,000 across our cluster of stations, but I need him that first week to see results. I need you to make the phone ring. We can do that on spoken word. Because my listeners come to me to explain Obamacare. They come to me to explain tax policies. They come to me to explain what's happening in the news. And they trust me. And when I tell them where to shop, they trust that I'm going to steer them in the right direction. And if that's your client and you need results, then you need to be selling some portion of that client with live endorsements on my show. And by the way, I'll do it free for the next 6 months just so I can show you the results I can get for your clients.